in the 1980s, everyone was lean and blah, blah, blah. And I'm looking at it going like, well, I wasn't. I was there alone, the solo fat person. Somebody said to me, what do you think happened? What do you think went wrong? And I was like, just had all these thoughts, like the proliferation of fast food. Obesity is also a communicable thing. Like it's contagious. It is. This is true. And as I said that, I realized, holy shit, I'm patient zero. And now for the Q&A.
Today's question comes from Megan.
Hi, Megan.
Megan says, I'm a woman in my mid-20s, 5'11", 195 pounds. I've always been very athletic, but a little bit chubby and overall unhappy with my relationship with food. I've been recently very dialed in on weight loss. I have a wonderful boyfriend of 2 years who I love very much, and I would like him to be an advocate and teammate in my weight loss goals, the way Brandy seems to be for you. However, I just can't get him to engage in the way I would like. He doesn't really even want to talk about it. He says he does not want me to associate his approval with losing weight because he thinks that may spiral me into disordered eating behaviors, which I've struggled with in the past. How should I navigate?
Look, Megan, let me say this. I'm a guy and I have a wife and 4 daughters who are the most wonderful, precious, meaningful relationships I have. And sometimes, and I'm not saying this is definitely what your guy is doing, but sometimes we do feel awkward about wanting to say, way to go on your diet or your exercise plan, because maybe it would make you think that we were waiting for you to do that or wanting you to do that. I don't know. It becomes complicated. I will say that if you're trucking along, you do need a teammate. You definitely need a teammate. I would be real apprehensive if he was like bringing you a carton of ice cream at night or telling you not to go to the gym so that you could watch TV with him or trying to get you to order a pizza or something like that. But I understand his reasoning for not wanting to say like, you look so much better now, or you know what I mean? Like I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt in that sense, because I understand communicating with women as a guy. You want to be super respectful. You don't want it to seem as though you were desperate for them to do this thing. I mean, it gets real tricky, you gals, you girls, you women, we get scrutinized for the way we react when you put on an outfit to go out to a party or to dinner, and we have to, tiptoe through these exchanges. And I think that talking to a woman about weight loss is even more of a potential minefield than what should I wear tonight. So while I'm saying you absolutely need a teammate and a cheerleader and somebody who's rooting for you and who's got your back, there might be ways he's communicating about this, which he's trying very hard just to say the correct thing that isn't going to stick your attention somewhere it shouldn't be. And so I don't know exactly how to tell you to talk to him about that. But if you're aware of what it could potentially do to you emotionally, then you can have just a really blunt and curt and honest conversation with him and go like, look, I'm working my butt off. Here's what I want. I'm trying to get to this, and I need you to be aware of it. If I do something, anything, and my wife's reaction is just like, well, I'm not going to acknowledge that, it's hurtful. It's totally hurtful. I want my efforts to be recognized. And so if it's that, then that's you have to have a heart to heart conversation with the guy and understand that the guy is saying he doesn't want to create a situation with disordered eating. That's not completely insane. That's thoughtful. He sounds like a thoughtful guy. But also, I find that us guys sometimes need training in how to communicate. And so maybe you got to go like, listen, if you know that I'm doing something, acknowledge it sometimes. You don't have to say like, oh my God, you were such a mess before and now you look great. Then it doesn't have to be that, but it's a tricky conversation. And I think you just have to allow that it's gonna be tricky for him too. He sounds like a decent guy, unless he's just a total scumbag, and then get rid of him. That's my advice.
Good advice. And man, your point of guys out there having to dance delicately around certain things when a person, girl gets dressed up. Yeah, I get it.
Oh my God, my wife and kids are so brutal with each other. And then when I've just learned, like when the outfit that I'm like, oh my God, that outfit's incredible. I don't say that because then you get the rug pulled out from under you. Like, how could you think that was a great outfit? And it's like, okay, listen, I'm going to be very, very careful with my words. Meanwhile, my wife and kids are cutthroat. They will tell each other all manner of shit. It's like, it seems horrible to me.
Yeah, but if you do it, you would be in the doghouse.
I would never even have these thoughts. These thoughts don't occur to me. The thoughts that the words they're saying to each other.
Right. Well, yeah, I think we all have some experience with this topic. So Megan, thanks for writing in and asking Ethan's advice on this. If anyone else has a question for Ethan Suplee, you can email it to us. It's hello@americanglutton.net. Today's question comes from John.
Hi, John.
John says, hey, Ethan, thank you for answering this question in advance. I had lost some weight and I'm still working on it, but I'm scared it's going to stop. Might sound silly, but how can I maintain my weight loss progress?
Yeah. Okay. So he's saying he's lost some weight. He wants to lose more.
Mm-hmm. But he's scared.
I mean, this
sounds like he's losing.
He's losing weight. Yeah. This is a tricky thing because like, what is he doing to lose weight? Like, this is how we could get into the nitty gritty of how to lose more. My suggestion is if you have an overall figure in mind, lose a quarter of it, go on maintenance for a while, let your body recuperate. And maintenance is, in my opinion, way harder than a diet because maintenance is a view of what the rest of your life is going to be unless you're going to just take the brakes off and gain the weight back. And so I like the idea of practicing maintenance before you get to your quote unquote goal weight so that when you get to your goal weight, it isn't so jarring and you've got practice, anything you want to learn to do takes reps. You got to get reps. If you want to improve your form lifting weights, it takes a lot of reps. It's not something most people are just innate at. And the people who just are innate at eating correctly are genetically gifted assholes and they can go fuck themselves, And so like, that's clearly not us because we're working at it. And so it takes reps. And so learning to eat the way you're going to eat forever takes reps. It requires, it's a learned skill. And so my advice is take a break from losing weight, practice maintaining weight. And when you go to lose weight again, it will be easier. All the systems in your body that are all stirred up because your body thinks it's dying of starvation are going to be calmed down. Your hormones are going to be chilled out and the weight will come off easier. And then do it again. Stop early, take a break, maintain that weight, and then go in for another round. That's my suggestion. When we're talking about anything other than that, the way to ensure it is to continue reducing calories. Like I mean, anything, if you're doing keto and you get to a plateau or you're concerned that weight loss is going to stop, if you just eat less, weight loss will continue. That's unfortunately the other side of it, which I think is not I don't think it's the best structure to use, because I think when you do that and you kind of go straight through, statistically, the weight comes back. Almost universally, statistically, the weight comes back, unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that. Thanks for that advice for John. John, let us know how it goes. Don't be scared. Do maintenance. I've got a question for you from Jeremy.
Hi, Jeremy.
Jeremy says, I'm a 42-year-old man, and the last year has snuck up on me, and now I'm finding myself 40 pounds overweight. This has happened before. It's been like this all my life, up and down, up and down. Dare I say it's traumatic, for lack of a better term. How do I overcome this trauma, and how do I just get started again?
Yeah. Well, I think 40 pounds. Did he say the time frame? This last year. In the last
year. Yeah.
Last year. I wish we could crunch the numbers. I've read that the majority of weight gain happens over the holidays. Man, 40 pounds it's not nothing, but it's not crazy insane. But I think you gotta like figure out where you can trim, 3,000, basically it's under a pound a week if we wanted to figure it out that way. But like, you got to lose the weight and then figure out what your maintenance is. And it sounds like your maintenance is going to be just under a pound a week less than what you're eating, which is, what's 3,500 divided by 7? 500 calories a day. So 500 calories a day is not nothing, but it's not quite that. So let's say 350 calories a day, because there's 52 weeks in a year. So it's not that you're gaining approximately a pound a week. It's less than that. But, figure out your life and where you can trim that. Is it not drinking your calories might be a good place to do it. Losing the weight, I think, is different than keeping it off, right? Losing the weight requires some intervention, and then keeping it off probably requires another different kind of intervention. Like, I don't know that just not drinking your calories is going to be enough to lose the weight. I don't know, but maybe it'll be enough to keep it off. So whatever diet structure you figure out to get the weight off, I would try to make it as close to how you're going to eat for the rest of your life as possible, so that when you're done losing weight, your calories go up. They just don't go up enough to produce more weight gain. Does that make sense, Paige?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, that's really my suggestion. If it's this long-term cycle of gaining and losing approximately 40 pounds, yeah, let's not do it anymore, dude. I've maintained my weight for 6 years. It's not the easiest thing ever, but it was much harder when I started doing it than it is today. Today, it's really not that hard. I went to a movie last night. When I was a kid, we would go to AMC and they would you could get a hot dog and a drink. They have now 2 hot dog and a drink deal. Yeah. Wow. This is what I'm saying. So don't get 2 hot dogs. I didn't get any hot dogs, but that's my point. Like, that's how I maintain my weight, is I don't get to eat hot dogs anymore at the movie theater. In the last year, I've had 1 hot dog at a movie theater, and it wasn't even great. I think AMC does a damn good hot dog in a movie theater. This was at a Regal. I'm going to just say you need to work on your hot dogs.
Up your game, your hot dog game.
Yeah, because when I do go, like today, part of my plan is going to be a hot dog at the movie. It better be good. And it sucked. Regal hot dog sucks.
It's not cool.
It's not cool,
Not
but
cool at all.
maybe, I got to have that once. I've probably been to 30 movies. No, that's an exaggeration. I've probably been to 15 movies this year. Not this year, last year. Everything I'm saying, it's still new to the year is still fresh, people.
I know this
I
is
meant
being
last year.
recorded January. So yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I went to a lot of movies. I like going to the movies. When I was a kid, I loved to eat hot dogs at the movies. I was probably the first. I've been thinking a lot about something, Paige, and it's such a funny idea in my head, and I'm sure it'll offend some people, but I don't really care because it's my experience. When I was a kid, there were no other fat people. Do you know that?
What do you mean? No, what do you mean?
I mean, there were no other fat people. I was the only fat person. I was the only fat person I knew.
That you knew.
Well, you go to the beach. I was the fat guy. You go to Disneyland. I was the fat guy. You go and order a hot dog at AMC. I was the fat guy. And there was a meme recently of a picture of a beach in 1985. No fat people. And it said, something like, in the 1980s, everyone was lean and blah, blah, blah. And I'm looking at it going like, well, I wasn't. I was there alone, the solo fat person. And I was thinking, and my friend said, what happened? Somebody said to me, what do you think happened? What do you think went wrong? And I was like, had all these thoughts, like government subsidies of food, the proliferation of fast food, the epigenetic shift caused by yo-yo dieting, right? That our moms started doing in the 1950s. That's had some effect. So, and then I was like, and it's also, obesity is also a communicable thing. Like it's contagious. It is. This is true. And as I said that, I realized, holy shit, I'm patient zero. And I started to see my childhood. You remember when COVID happened and they'd do all those like heat images so you could see people's breath? And I started to think of myself as just walking around as a little kid through like Disneyland as like a super spreader event, that I was causing this. I know it's not true because there were other fat people, but there weren't a lot of us.
Yeah, and that's how you saw it. That was your reality. And when we feel that way, it's quite isolating when we feel like we're not like everybody else sometimes on all that. Because I had the same experience as a kid. I was roly-poly Pagey, and everybody else was thin. They were just thin people, normal people, So yeah, you feel you're just inward, and I'm the only one, and what's wrong with me, and so on. But now I know I caught it from you, so thank you.
There you go. I was patient zero. It's I guess I have to take responsibility for this. I am sorry.
You do. No, thank you. I think you're making up for it by all the help you give me, so thank you. Well, thanks for that question. Let us know how you do. And for anybody else who wants to know Ethan's perspective on something, not only can you keep listening to the show, but you can write us a question and we'll answer it for you here. It's hello@americanglutton.net.